Hello, I'm John, welcome to my channel, Disquiet and Dragons, and this is my weekly wrap-up, week ending the 18th of August. So welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well. I'm out for my walk again. Please excuse the wind noise. My editing skills aren't quite good enough to edit it out, I'm afraid. If the video suddenly stops, it's because it looks like it might actually rain or storm in a minute, and I'll be doing a runner for the small copse of woods that's close by. So I'm at Pipehall Farm. It's a Woodland Trust woodland. I'm sat on my favourite bench. It's a lovely view normally, but it looks like they've had the tractors out and they've mowed all the grass down, so it's not quite as picturesque as it normally is, but I still love it up here. So, the weekly wrap up. Actually had a really good reading week. I managed to finish 2 books, and I've made progress on the buddy read that I'm doing with Nikhil and Ellie. That's Assassin's Quest by Robin Hobb. I'm about a third of the way through at the moment. It's absolutely brilliant, absolutely wonderful book. The world building and the character building, second to none. Absolutely fantastic world building. The sense of scale in the story now, because the previous 2 books were set more or less in the same location, but this one's gone out into the wider world, and it just feels such a vast world and a beautiful world as well. But with the extending of the world building comes it becomes quite tense, because the stakes are getting higher, and it's not just people that the main characters are having to deal with, it's the environment as well. But really enjoying the buddy read. We're like messaging each other when we get to a certain point in the book, and just having like other people's insights and them catching on to things that you might have missed yourself. It's just brilliant. The first book that I finished this week was The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. Absolutely brilliant. I listened to it on the audio book, narrated by Andy Serkis, and it just takes it to a whole new level. His narration is absolutely wonderful. I mean, we've all seen the films and seen what he can do with the voice of Gollum. So the scene where Bilbo meets Gollum under the mountain, it's just amazing. But he really gives character to the dwarves as well. The accent he uses for Thorin is just brilliant. These actors are just wonderful. It's like they'll be speaking in their own normal accent, and the next minute it's like they're from North Yorkshire without skipping a beat. It's just amazing. But really enjoyed reading The Hobbit again. I think that's, including the graphic novel, that's the 4th time I've read it. Still a magical book, still a 5-star read for me. Absolutely loved it, and one that I'll probably read again at some point. I was so impressed by the audiobook that I got the Fellowship of the Ring, so I'll be listening to that soon. And the second book that I finished this week was a horror novel by N.P. Cunliffe, and that was called The Ouija Man. Absolutely loved this one. I've never heard of this author before, but the name was quite intriguing. I think I got it on a daily deal on my Kindle. It's set in Ireland. It's about this author, and he's kind of got writer's block, and his girlfriend suggests that, why don't you go back to your hometown and rent a house and the peace and quiet, and see if that helps with your writer's block. So off he goes to Ireland, and he goes to the local pub on the first day that he gets there to have a meal and that, and he meets these locals. It turns out in the back room they've got a Ouija board, so they end up getting a bit drunk and using this Ouija board, and they actually summon something, and the locals that he's been playing the board with, they just rush off absolutely terrified, and the landlord is like, yeah, you're barred, never come back here. And from that night on, things start getting strange for him, and he learns things about what happened close to where he was staying. The way that the information is revealed is really quite interesting. It becomes what you think is initially like a haunting type horror novel. It actually becomes a folk horror as well. So if you like spooky goings on or folk horror, it's well worth picking up. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I gave this one 4 stars on my story graph. But yeah, definitely an author I'll look to see if they've got anything else published. Thoroughly enjoyed the writing style. The only downside that I had with the novel was, considering it was set in like rural Ireland, it didn't really use descriptions of the environment and the countryside as much as I might have liked, but it's still quite atmospheric. It uses like fog, weather to good effect. But overall, thoroughly enjoyed that one, and that's The Ouija Man by N.P. Cunliffe. So, as for movies this week, I went to the cinema twice. The first film I went to see was the new M. Night Shyamalan film, Trap, and it's about this guy played by, I think his name's Cooper, played by Josh Hartnett. He was really good in this film, and he takes his daughter to this concert. I think the singer's called Lady Raven. She's like a sensation, sells out wherever she goes. And it turns out that this concert is actually a trap for a serial killer that is operating in the area that this concert's taking place. It's in the trailer, so it's not really spoiling it. Josh Hartnett's character is actually the serial killer, and it's about him trying to get out of this concert. It's okay. It's not the best film I've ever seen. You've really got to have a suspension of disbelief for this film, because the film really does assume that you're stupid, because there's just plot holes and plot twists that just make no sense. You're given information earlier in the film about the character and the motivations, how they go about doing what they do, and then they just go completely against it and do something absolutely ridiculous. If you've got like an unlimited cinema pass or anything, you've got an afternoon or an evening to kill, yeah, it's alright, it's not too bad, but I wouldn't go out of your way to go and watch it. The next film that I went to see was Alien Romulus, and this one, it's set between the first film Alien and Aliens. I haven't seen the last couple of Alien films, so I was a bit worried that I wouldn't get what was going on, but to be honest, if you've never seen an Alien film before in your life, you could watch this and you'd still get what was going on. It follows this main character, I think her name's Rain, I think her name is something like that, and an android that is there to like protect her, and she like meets up with her old crew, and they want to go to this deserted space station and find these like cryo tubes so they can travel to a distant star system. And as you can probably tell, deserted space stations, they're not a place to be in the Alien universe. So things start going very badly very quickly for them. It's been said that this is a return to the Alien franchise being a horror movie, and I'm not entirely sure it is, because the horror that is in it is just jump scares. There's no real, well, I say no real, there's a couple of scenes that become quite tense, but yeah, if all you're relying on is jump scares, I mean, there was a couple, they really got me, but I think there was about 5 or 6 jump scares throughout the whole film, and at no point did I feel scared because of a sense of dread. I was like nervous because I'm like, oh, something's going to pop out in a second, scare me. But if you can get past that, it's still a really good film. I really did quite enjoy this one. It's a bit longer than it needs to be. It was one of these films that kind of went on for 10 minutes after it could have finished. But apart from that, yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it. And if horror, science fiction type films are your thing, or if you enjoyed other films in the franchise, well worth going to the cinema to see. I've had to move as the weather took a bit of a turn, so I'm heading somewhere with a bit more shelter. The other thing that I've done this week, music wise, haven't really listened to anything new, like CD wise. Been enjoying the new Powerwolf album. That's about it really. But I did go to a gig on Saturday night. I went to see Metallica. They're about the UK's best Metallica tribute band. Absolutely brilliant night. I went with my friend Sarah, and we got to the venue. Never been there before. A place called The Station in Cannock, Staffordshire. And great little venue. The sound was awesome. Saw Metallica. They came on. They played for about 2.5 hours. They played 20 songs in all, and if I was going to pick my perfect Metallica set list, it wouldn't, what they played, it wouldn't be far off. They played some of my favourite songs. Played like Dyer's Eve, which I absolutely love, and they played some new songs off 72 Seasons, which were really cool. They played like the classics. They played One, Enter Sandman, Master of Puppets, Creeping Death, that kind of thing. But they played Turn the Page, which is I think it's a Bob Seger cover, or Seger, I don't know how you pronounce his name, sorry, off the Garage Inc. album. Absolutely brilliant. They played it so well. But I did take some video while I was there, so if you don't mind some metal, I'll play some footage from the gig. So that was some of the Mortalica gig that I went to on last Saturday. If you're in the UK and they ever play a gig near where you live, well worth going to check them out. I had a great night. So that about brings me to the end of the weekly wrap up. I think I'm going to head back to the car now, to be honest, because it's starting to blow a gale as well. You can probably hear the trees, but you know, it's nice to hear the trees sing every so often. So that was my week. I'd love to know what you've been reading in the comments. So if you've been reading anything good, let me know. As always, thank you for watching and subscribing and all that good stuff. I hope you're all doing well, and I hope you're enjoying what you're reading. I'll talk to you again soon. Cheers, bye.